I'm Frank Vaughn. It's June 17th, 2025, and there was a very real reason that Donald Trump endorsed Mark Carney to become Prime Minister of Canada. He was the person that Trump wanted to negotiate with. And when we get the details of the agreement that is reached between the Liberal Party, and that's how it's going to be, we're going to get them. They're going to be given to us, likely while Parliament is away, the same as we're signing a defense pact with Europe while Parliament is away, because Parliament is not government. Your government is appointed by Parliament, and they can rule through the Governor General's office without oversight. And that is exactly what is happening right now. But everybody said that it was some kind of clever psyop, that Donald Trump endorsed Mark Carney because he really wanted Pierre Poilievre. And it's incredible to me how willfully blind the Liberals in this country actually are as regards this man. Carney has bent over backwards for Donald Trump. He has fully capitulated, and the only thing that remains to be seen is how bad it actually is when the trade agreement is signed. There is no replacement for the United States. People have no excuse for not knowing that. Even during the election campaign, when Mark Carney was all elbows up, talking about how the relationship with the United States is over, it's not over. It can't be over because it's based on proximity. It's based on capital flows. Capital goes where it is most easily transmitted, which is across the American border. That's why so much of our money goes there. That's why so much of our product goes there. That's why so much of their capital comes back. You can't replace it. But what we can do, and what I believe Mark Carney is here to do, is to gut Canada, to loot Canada for his friends. And those friends include Jared Kushner, Elon Musk, and Donald Trump, and it seems crystal clear now exactly what is happening. But it's not just Americans. It's also his European partners. Remember, this is a man who self-identified first as a European citizen. He's got friends over there too, and Canada is ripe for harvest. If you've already seen this, forgive me, we're going to watch it again, but you have to watch, and you have to understand body language and see Mark Carney supplicated before Donald Trump.
It's a great honor. Happy birthday. A few days short. A few days short, but didn't have a chance to see you on the day. Happy birthday to the U.S. military as well, 250th, and this is the 50th birthday, if you will, of the G7. This marks the 50th birthday of the G7, and the G7 is nothing without U.S. leadership, and your personal leadership of the United States, many issues. Geopolitics, economic, technology, and working hand in hand with the United States, Canada, the United States, and the other G7 partners with your leadership. Very much looking forward to the meeting.
Not to be outdone, every single Canadian representative at the G7 lined up to fawn over the President of the United States. This all makes sense if you understand that the election campaign was designed to empower the Liberal Party, to keep them in control, to get Mark Carney to win by deceiving the public. The deception worked before the election, and it's continuing to work now. Poll numbers show the CPC and their support base in the tank, and the Liberal Party is enjoying high approval ratings. It's as though the last 10 years didn't even happen. This country is broken, folks. And if you want evidence for that thesis, you need look no further than my own timeline on X. My tweet is, I hope Liberal voters are enjoying watching Carney grovel at Trump's feet. Is this what you voted for? Pretty simple question, right? Annie, loving every minute of an adult commanding the room. Can't imagine Pierre in this situation. Pierre would have done much the same, but your reaction would have been so much different. You would have been ranting and raving about how he was about to give away the country. When the trade agreement finally comes out, when the tariff war is avoided, when Carney capitulates to Trump's demands and Europe's demands at the same time, and we parse that, and we analyze that, and we explain exactly what it means, you're still not going to get it, because this is team sports for you. There's some people, a lot of people, millions of people, who should stick to hockey and football. They should leave politics to their betters, but they don't. They treat politics the same as they do team sport. All I can do is write LMAO, because, what else am I supposed to do? You get more bees with honey, not vinegar. Newsflash. Is that what elbows up meant? Lemming like hypocrites, all of you. And they are. They have no pause for introspection. They don't understand that the entire election campaign was vinegar, was about inflaming Donald Trump, or at least optically, because, again, I just want to reiterate, I don't think any of it was real, even on the American side. I think Trump's rhetoric, I think everything has been one gigantic deception, and the issue with Iran is actually proving that. We'll get into that. Let's just keep reviewing these liberal people. That's not what's happening. That's how you deal with a sociopath. You all repeat the exact same line, utterly incapable of reflection or independent thought. Dude, I'd bet given the chance you'd let Trump go balls deep down your throat. So deep, in fact, you wouldn't even have to swallow, you vapid zilch. And I said, you people are disgusting. I don't need to go any further because there's all kinds of Gug Dillmores in the comments section. These people are vile. They're repulsive. It scares me that they might actually be breeding and passing this on to their kids. And it creates a world of doubt in my mind. I had a really hard time last night. I was laying there in bed. I was watching the sunset, which it never really does. And I was thinking to myself, I'm raising my kids to be respectful. I'm raising my kids to be polite. I'm raising my kids to be moral members of Western civilization. Am I disadvantaging them? Because it certainly seems there is a whole pile of societal retardation, and that is the majority of people. And it's not just a left-wing problem. It's there. It is absolutely there, and I think it's there in greater numbers, but it's also on the right. People who demean and insult and go to invective and are vulgar and base, soulless. And they're in control. They're the dominant force. They're the loudest voices. Where in the hell am I going to find proper people for my kids? And is it a lost cause? I sometimes wonder, but I have no choice but to struggle. I have no choice but to try and engage with it better than what I get. And I got to tell you, I'm going to double down on that. The more invective I get, the better I'm going to treat people. Because something's got to give, something's got to change. And if it doesn't change, this is how I want to die. I want to die doing things right. From someone who was there, you need to pay off the Kool-Aid or Russian rupees you're being paid. Dude, you're a effing clown. Trump is the laughing stock of the wheel ring. And does he ever smell? Good thing about day labor, we don't sign NDAs so we can talk about it. I said you can barely communicate in English. These people have the exact same ability to vote that I do. It seems unfair. The most ignorant among us, the most politically uninformed, have the exact same say that I do in the electoral process. And the electoral process itself, as I've highlighted, is a complete and total joke in this country. So as Mark Carney virtue signals to the cameras, again, feeding those people that I was just reading, virtue signaling with the Treaty 7 chiefs, never talking to the people. Does any politician ever just go to the reserve and talk to the average, ordinary person on the street? No. It's always the chiefs and the feathers and the people who get all the money, who rip off their people, the people who own the band councils, the people who own the land underneath the feet of the people who have no private property rights on reserve. It's always this virtue signaling nonsense. Mark Carney negotiating directly with Donald Trump to end trade war. They wanted each other. They got each other. They duped a huge percentage of the Canadian public. But I don't think things would have ended up much different under Poilievre. Let me be clear about that. You see, in politics, oftentimes you have to just take the pragmatic chance that things could be better one way or another. We probably would have got a better criminal justice agenda from the Poilievre government, and that would be awesome. There were things I highlighted that would be awesome, but when it came to foreign policy, they were identical. Poilievre wanted the war with Iran. Poilievre wants the war with Ukraine. It seems unending. Trump leaves G7 summit early amid escalations in the Middle East. The Americans are going to join the war. Put a pin in that right now. Probably before the end of the week, they're going to join the war. If the Trump administration was willing to deceive Iran about the impending Israeli attack in public, which they did, they signaled to Iran that there was no attack coming. Rubio came out and said they had no prior knowledge. All of it was a lie. All of it was a show. All of it was to help Israel gain the upper hand in the offensive. So now there's this notion that Iran is holding back, striking Israel, even though Israel is bombing the living hell out of Iran right now. That Iran is holding back because they're hoping to secure some kind of a ceasefire through the United States because Trump is sending mixed signals. If they're doing that, they are absolute fools. Because I think right now Trump is saying, we're not entering. And then by Thursday or Friday, the Americans are going to be involved, bombing the living hell out of Iran. And this is the thing. If Trump is willing to deceive people on that front, and I'm not, again, just analyze this dry. Analyze this as just pure analysis without picking sides. If Trump is willing to engage in this deception, does it make sense of the other things? He campaigned on ending government overspending. Instead, they got this bill where he gets $5 trillion more in debt to play with, and there's no talk of ending the deficit whatsoever. Is it possible, and this was always a distinct possibility, that Trump wants to make the United States strong? I believe that he does, but I think that Donald Trump has shown his hand now. He wants the United States on top of the globalist institutions that are out there. So they campaigned against the World Economic Forum. They campaigned against the United Nations. They sent some signals when they first came into office, pulling out of the WHO and all this stuff. I think America is just concerned with maintaining itself on top. It doesn't give a damn if those institutions survive or die. And it doesn't give a damn if their agenda is implemented around the world. As long as the United States remains on top of the heap, I think that satisfies his agenda, which goes a long way to explaining why Donald Trump could throw another one of his longtime allies under the bus. Somebody please explain to Kooky Tucker Carlson, why does he got to call him names? Why does he got to do this? He did the same thing with Elon Musk because Elon disagreed with a bill. And why do the American people? It's the same thing with Mark Carney. The Liberal voter in Canada cannot critically analyze their own prime minister just as much as people in the United States, many of them who watch my videos and aren't going to be happy about this, can critically analyze what's actually happening with Donald Trump because they have to fucking believe in the man. They put their faith in a man, not in the Father, not in the Lord above. They put it in a man, and then they mix the two together, which deprives them of critical analysis and thought. Somebody please explain to Kooky Tucker Carlson that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Well, someone did try to explain. Tulsi Gabbard, Director of National Intelligence. Iran is not building a nuclear weapon, and Supreme Leader Khamenei has not authorized the nuclear weapons program that he suspended in 2003. This is from March 25th, 2025. And if you believe the messaging that's coming out of the U.S. government, an example of which is this from June 4th, 2025. It seems like so long ago, not 13 days ago. It seems like ancient history. Trump purges Israeli hardliners in overhaul of West Asia policy. The U.S. president's staffing changes are considered an effort to limit Israeli influence on U.S. policy. Was this just part of the grand deception that was orchestrated, admittedly now, between the Trump administration and the government of Israel about the impending assault on Iran? Remember, I covered in yesterday's video, if anybody gives a living shit about facts or not, I covered how the Israeli government was on the verge of collapsing before this assault was launched at the last minute, and now that's all disappeared. And now all this has disappeared. Was this just signaling? Because Iran has intelligence, the world has intelligence. They're looking at the names and the people that are being shuffled around inside of the U.S. administration and saying to themselves, it looks like Trump is moving away from a hard line when it comes to Israel and Iran. Was this all just part of the ruse? And if this Machiavellian scheming, this level of deception was engaged in, what other areas might the U.S. government be actively deceiving its own public as well as the global community? The larger image on the screen that you see right now is Elon Musk's drug test, because Donald Trump, after Elon Musk disagreed publicly with a bill moving through Congress, and Trump just had to attack him, start calling him names, spreading rumors that he was doing ketamine all the time. Now I know Musk said that Trump was on the Epstein flight log and list. We know that's a fact. And now we know that Trump was lying about the ketamine. Here it is. The other image on the list is contracts. Canada, I've made the case that Canada is a lawless state, that we don't actually have the rule of law here anymore. Law is being issued by fiat through the Governor General's signature. We see that with gun bans. We see that with the way that Parliament can be dispensed with and the government can spend billions of your money without any approval. We can sign huge sea change geopolitical treaties with the European Union while Parliament is off vacationing for summer. It's kind of crazy, but only to people like myself who are paying attention. There's a whole segment of the population that just seems to be perfectly okay with all of this. We're being overrun by money laundering, by crime. We are turning violent criminals loose on the street. There's people with, there's an article I read recently about a guy that's got 30 drunk driving infractions, driving around on the road, and the big concern is that he gets to stay in Canada. We don't want to deport him. We got Calistanis staging Freedom Convoy-like protests, going to the G7 to try and apprehend Modi, which is their mission, and the Canadian news doesn't even talk about it. It's only the alternative media that's talking about it. The country's being destroyed, and there's a whole segment of the population that just think this is business as usual. But anyway, in an example of Canada not having the rule of law anymore is the fact that Canada has declared the IRGC, the Iranian Republican Guard Corps, as a terrorist organization. And yet, we are issuing non-competitive contracts to the Republic of Iran. 6 of them! And I just got to point out how insane things are. We talk about the British arresting people for memes. I get it. It's wartime, right? Israeli arrested after posting pro-Iran flag, anthem, and saluting emoji. So the guy made a post on social media. He got arrested. It's a big splashy headline as though this is the right thing to do. At the same time, ISIS-affiliated teen arrested in southern Israel. ISIS affiliation bad, right? Unless it's Syria. Germany pledges hundreds of millions to Syrian regime despite sectarian massacres. Sectarian mass killings in Syria have been ongoing for over a week at this point. This is back in March. Armed men affiliated with self-declared President Ahmad al-Sharaz Jolani have killed thousands of Alawites, and in some cases Christians. This is a man who has plenty of ISIS ties. He's shaking hands with President Trump. He is shooting down missiles coming from Iran. He's a very useful tool to the Israelis, and he's a very useful tool to the Americans. This is fine. Giving this guy an entire country is fine, but ISIS is bad still in Israel. It's like, how do people hold this all together in their head? And do the whole, it's like that this is normal meme, this is fine meme, where the little dog is sitting in the burning room. These things all contradict each other, but the contradictions are so legion that it's just become normalized and people zone out. So to sum it all up, the Carney voter didn't vote for total capitulation to the United States and Europe, and China for that matter. We didn't even get into that in this video, but that's what you got. And it doesn't seem to bother anybody. When someone points it out, all they do is insult you with the most base, vulgar, classless words. Like the human condition is dying before your eyes in the comment section. Did the American voter vote for more debt? Did the American voter vote for more war? How did the peace president manage to go from being the peace president to the unlimited prosecution of all the same wars? It's like the shift is subtle. He talks and he signals about wanting peace, but his actions are dictating something totally different. And when we see the level of deception that was engaged in when it comes to covering up for the Israelis' impending assault, and this is absent, once again, this isn't trying to take sides in the war. I could do that. I could talk about it. But what I'm just trying to point out right now is that it seems we got a bunch of interwoven, huge deceptions going on, and they highlight how so many other things could simply be more of the same deception. I'm Frank Vaughn. This video is going to fall like a rock on my audience. I'm sure of it if anybody watches it, because the algorithm's been killing me ever since I started talking about Israel. But this is what I'm here to do. I'm here to tell the truth as I see it. I'm not here to be liked. I'm not here to cater to an audience. I don't even know if I can do that. I was thinking about that last night. It's like, well, the algorithm's killing you. People aren't watching. They're not engaging. Should you tailor your content more towards what people are wanting to watch? And it's like a pit of despair takes me from the inside whenever I think about that notion that I got to tailor and edit what I say. I think I'm just going to keep going. And if it fails and flops, it fails and flops. But if you value this, even if you don't like it, please consider supporting it via the website with a donation. You could do that, or you cannot do that. It's your choice because I provide everything for free, and I'm not monetized in any single way. All these idiots who say that I need to change my Russian rupees or I'm getting paid, it's an incredible thing to receive hate mail and hate comments from Palestinians, people who support Palestine, people who support Iran, people who support Israel, people who support Carney, people who support Polyev, people who support Trump, people who support the Democrats. They all hate me. And I think that just shows that I'm actually doing something different. And I'm going to keep doing something different. I'll see you in the next one.